I welcome you again to this episode of Physical Geography, where we are on the action of wind. Today we are going to run the question relating to wind transportation. We have a question which is asking, explain 4 factors which influence the process of wind transportation. So meaning that we are going to see the factors that influence a wind to transport the materials in the desert. The factor number 1 is strength and speed of wind. So when you talk of strength and speed of wind, you are talking about so when wind is strong, it will transport more and heavy materials, while those winds which are weak, we transport lighter materials, or the materials which are not heavy. We go to the factor number 2, the obstacles like large rock will block the wind, thus reducing its speed. So meaning that the obstacles like big rocks will block the winds, so this will hinder wind to transport the materials. We go to the factor number 3. The factor number 3 is the nature of roads. So the right particles such as fine dust are easily picked out by the wind and to the wrong distance, while those which are heavy are not able in the wrong distance. So meaning that depending on the nature, depending on how the roads look like, so we have heavy roads and light roads. So those roads which are heavy will not be transported over a long distance, but those ones which are light will be transported over a long distance. We go to vegetation cover. About vegetation cover, the area where the surface is covered by vegetation, sand particles are bound together, and this will reduce the ability of wind to transport the roads. So therefore, those are the major factors that influence the transportation of wind. We saw strength and speed of wind. We look at the obstacle, we look at the nature of the roads, and we also finally we see the vegetation cover. We go to the question number 6. The question number 6, describe the ways by which wind transported roads. Or this question is otherwise asked in this way: describe 3 ways through which the materials eroded by wind are transported. So we are going to see the ways the materials eroded by the wind in the desert are transported. So we have the way number 1, or process 1, is suspension. Suspension here, the wind transport very fine and light particles like dust which are held in the air above the ground. So meaning that this is the process by which wind transport its road, where the wind transport the right materials like dust, like papers, or any other kind of right materials. We go to the way number 2, which is siltation. About siltation, the wind transport medium-sized particles along the ground surface through reaping. So meaning that here the wind transport medium-sized particles or medium-sized materials. We go to the way number 3, which is surface creep. The surface creep, wind transport heavy and consolidated material. So meaning that here the wind will transport very heavy materials, and those materials will be transported on the land, on the ground. So therefore, such a process is called surface creep. So we go to question number 7. Name the features resulting from wind deposition. We are going to see. So when the wind is transporting the materials and its speed become too low, it will start letting down those materials, and such a process is called wind deposition. So meaning that wind deposition, this is where the wind will let down the materials that is transporting due to its reduction in the speed and its strength. So we have, when wind deposits the materials, there are some features that will be formed. We have feature number one, which is sand dune. When you talk of sand dune, this is a raw hill or a ridge of sand that has been accumulated by wind action. So meaning that this is a ridge of sand that has been accumulated by wind action. We have a rose. Loess, a fine and consolidated light colored dust that is blown by the winds. We have finally dross. Dross, when you talk of dross, those are biggest sand feature in the desert, as they can rise at heights of 200 meters above. So therefore, those are the main features or the main landforms that are formed as a result of wind deposition. So thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget